Alright, so in this video we're going to run power to our light box and then drop a switch leg down into our switch box. This is called single pole switch power at the light. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to run a piece of wire from the panel box into the light box. Again, we want to leave about 8 inches of wire sticking out of the box. The other end would go to the panel box. From previous video, you'll know that I like to stick the power wire closest to the stud, so that way I always know which one is the power wire. Then we need to take a piece of wire and run a switch leg. So we're going to go from the light box and we're going to drop that wire into our switch box. I'm going to stick one staple on here just kind of keep it in place. Once we get our wires ran, then we're going to strip the wires, reach into the box, cut the outer casing of the wire, peel all the casing off and any excess paper. Make sure you keep your fingers out of the way so you don't cut yourself. Strip the wires, set them aside, take the other wire. Strip the wire. And you have your bare wires. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is this single pole switch. Just going to trim the wires off. You want about 6 inches sticking out of the box. So when you stuff them in, you have something to work with later. Ground wire. I'm just going to put a hook on there to hook onto my ground screw. My white wire and my switch leg of my switch leg. Again, I'm just going to strip about 3/4 of an inch. Put a hook onto Alright, to attach a single pole switch. Single pole switch is going to have 2 gold screws and 1 ground screw. So I like to do the ground screw first. Make sure that you always turn the loop in the direction you're going to tighten the screw. The other 2 wires go on the single pole switch. You can always identify a single pole switch because it has on and off on it. Other switches, 3-way switches and 4-way switches, do not have on and off. Only the single pole. So I have a single pole switch, and then all I have to do is stuff it into the box and screw it in. Alright, so here's where the difference is up in this box, this light box. So the first thing I'm going to do is connect my ground wires, twist them a couple times, grab your lineman's pliers, make sure they're nice and tight, snip one of the wires off, take your green wire nut, put your green wire nut on so it's nice and tight. ground wires are done. Okay, now, in order for this to work, I have to get power from my panel box through here down to this switch. It has to jump to the other wire and then come back. So this wire right here is coming from the panel box. This is my hot wire. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my other black wire and I'm going to wire nut these two together. So the wire going down, the black wire going down to my switch will be my hot wire. So I'm going to take a red wire nut and wire nut these two wires together. That leaves me with these two wires. Okay, now this wire is the wire that's coming from the panel box. This is going to be my neutral wire. This white wire coming back up from this switch box now becomes my switch leg. So I would have to mark this as black. So I could take a Sharpie and I could color the end of this black, or if you have some electrical tape, you can wrap the end in electrical tape, and then when they come in later to hook up the light, they'll know that this is the black wire because it's got the black tape or the black marker on the end of it, and then this one would be my neutral because my neutral is coming over here from the panel box. So that's how you would wire a single pole switch power at the light box.